What the hell? I got a letter from myself? Well, this should be interesting. Let's go ahead and open this bad boy up. Let's just... Okay. Dear Tony, this is you from one day in the future. Trying to tell you that today you'll be doing your orange review and that you should be very careful not to be overly negative or give it a really low score. I do this to watch over you because the backlash will be real and it will be tough. Sincerely, Tony Watley II. P.S. This is not a troll, this is not a joke. Don't be stupid. Believe what I wrote. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. This is a freaking troll. I don't believe this for a second. Oh, shit. The Black Critic Guy back with another video for BCG Romance Month, and today I'll be reviewing the anime Orange. Now, Orange follows a high school girl named Naho Takamiya who receives a strange letter one day from her future self warning her to watch and protect a new classmate, friend, and potential love interest named Kakeru. At first she doesn't really believe it, but then the letters start going into more detail about things that she's actually experiencing, and she starts realizing, wow, this letter is true. And so she does her best to try to follow what the letter says in order to prevent a terrible outcome from happening, as well as saving herself from having any future regrets. Now, I myself have heard plenty about the anime Orange. It was one of the most talked about anime of the fall season last year, and a lot of you have asked me to check it out. And I won't lie, I was pretty curious to check it out for myself. I found the subject matter to be quite fascinating and a subject that's not really touched on in a lot of anime. So, I finally got a chance to watch it for BCG Romance Month, and what did I think about it? Well, let's get into the review, shall we? Now, honestly, this doesn't need to be stated because at this point in time, it's a given. We've come to expect this from all modern day anime, and if a modern day anime does not have this quality, then that right there is strange. That's the anomaly. But I'm still going to mention it as a huge pro of the anime, and that, of course, is its animation. As always, it's fantastic. The scenery is lush and beautiful, the colors are vibrant, and the character designs are really good, especially with the girls with their soft looking skin, cute faces, and big old eyes that you just get lost in immediately. It gives me such a huge smile on my face. Yeah, let's go with that. Another great thing about Orange was the Japanese voice cast who did a splendid job with their performances, really bringing the emotions to life, doing a great job at emoting and making their performances feel so raw and natural. And guess who showed up yet again? Yup, our favorite girl, Kana Hanazawa, voices the main character in this anime. Now, unfortunately, I do not have any liquor at my disposal, but I do have this bottle of water. So, this is for you for showing up again. This is my shot that I'm taking. Okay, here we go. Good to see you again, Kana. The story is well structured and gets very emotional from time to time, mainly due to the heavy and dark subject matter that it tackles, like regret and suicide. Not a lot of anime like to address the topic of suicide, and I think that's because you gotta handle that whole subject matter with a lot of grace, with a lot of respect, and you gotta handle it delicately. So far, I've only seen 2 other anime that actually address suicide in their story, one of which I saw last year, and that was Real Life, and they handled it very well in that, and they handled it very well here. I was especially moved by a particular scene halfway through the anime where Kakeru finally opened up about his true feelings to Suwa and Naho. That scene, guys, was one of the most powerful, emotional, and very well executed scenes in Orange. It hit me right here. It hit me to my core, guys, and I was so touched by what Suwa said to Kakeru, telling him not to be afraid to express himself, not to be afraid to tell them how he's truly feeling. And for anyone who's dealing with suicidal thoughts, it's always good to have a good support base, have someone there for you. And I love how the anime tackles this and addresses this and tells people who are dealing with suicidal thoughts, hey, don't be afraid to talk to somebody. Don't be afraid to let your friends know that you have a problem. Let your family know that you have a problem. We're here for you. I just love that scene so much. Everything about that scene was great. And in a strange way, the story of Orange reminds me so much of the story of Anohana. And I'll explain more in detail later on. And finally, we have the characters, most specifically the main friends group of the anime. I thought each were likable, dynamic, they all had their own unique personalities, and they all just worked so well together. Whether it be them having playful banter or having an emotional scene, they felt like genuine friends. I thought they were a tight friends group. But the absolute best character in Orange, in my opinion, was Suwa, the default leader of this friends group. Not only does he have a very charming, likable personality and deeply cares for each of his friends, but his selfless nature throughout the entire anime was quite touching to see, as well as bittersweet. Out of all the characters, Suwa was the most interesting with the toughest internal conflict in the entire anime. Express his true feelings at the cost of losing a friend, or saving a friend at the cost of his true feelings. In fact, now that I think about it, he should have been the main character of this anime. I mean, it would make so much sense. He's already the leader of this group, he pushes the story along, he does more to help Naho and Kakeru more than anybody else, and he has some of the best emotional scenes with Kakeru, even more so than Naho. In fact, I wish it could have been just a story about him and Kakeru and how he's trying to save his friend from a dark place. I think that would have been a much more compelling story than the one that we got here. Now, the story here isn't bad. I'm just saying, in hindsight, the other story seems a bit more interesting than the one that we actually got. And speaking of Kakeru, he too was quite a complicated character with a lot of guilt and emotional baggage. You truly feel for this character. You get a full understanding as to what is going on in his mind. And I thought the creators did a really good job at executing a character who's dealing with a lot of suicidal thoughts. His struggles with opening up to people and his fear of getting close to somebody was very relatable, especially at that age. And I really love seeing the growth of this character, learning to open up and relying on his friends. It truly moved me. But unfortunately, guys, I do have quite a few issues with Orange. And I can already tell a lot of people are gonna hit that dislike button. How could you hate this anime, Tony? I hate you! One of my major issues was that there wasn't a lot of variety in the drama. Not saying that the drama was poorly executed or terrible, it's just that it grew a little stale and repetitive after a while, especially since it was mainly focused on we have to save Kakeru most of the time. I mean, it would have been nice to see them kind of explore all these other characters, maybe have a little internal conflict among the characters in regards to Kakeru and how much they're putting forth to save him and he's not really doing much for them, or maybe even explore a little bit on how Kakeru as a character impacted all the other characters individually. Now, I brought up earlier that the drama of Orange is somewhat similar to that of Anohana, mostly the whole loss of a friend angle. But in Anohana, we not only see how the loss affected each of the characters on a personal level, but we also see a lot of external issues coming to the forefront that led to a schism in this friends group. There was much more going on in this drama that made it very compelling and interesting. In Orange, The drama is very stagnant because all the characters are on the same page. We have to save Kakaru no matter what. And that's not bad and all, but it doesn't make for a very compelling drama. It would have been more interesting to see the characters kind of argue amongst themselves as to whether or not this will actually work or whether or not it's actually worth it. One character named Hagita does bring up the fact that maybe it's not really worth it, maybe we can't really change anything, but it's quickly dropped after a while. And also because they don't further explore the impact Kakaru had on the characters individually outside of Naho, it leaves very little development or motivation for other characters like Hagita, Chino, and Murasaka. They had well-defined personalities, don't get me wrong, but very little growth in their characters. And speaking of the characters, I personally found Naho to be the weakest of the bunch, which is really ironic considering that she is the main character and she gets the most attention. And I think what I didn't like about this character the most was her actions throughout the entire anime. They just grew more irritating and stupid. And look, I totally understand that she's supposed to be a shy and passive character. But once she realized that the letters she was receiving were actually real, you should have saw this character jump into action much sooner, be more assertive, and make sure that she can prevent some of these things from ever happening, especially since it's very crucial to saving Kakaru. But it takes her to like the last 2 episodes to really become more assertive as a character. And to me, that's just really baffling and irritating. It upsetted me because she knows that this is very important. She clearly knows this, yet she continues to make the same mistakes over and over and over again. I don't know if that was the story's subtle way that you can't really stop yourself from being yourself or you can't really prevent everything from happening, but my goodness, it was just frustrating as a viewer to see. And the final fault I found in Orange is that there was a twist in the story that was effective at first. It took me completely by surprise, but then the anime had to go and ruin it. Now I'm gonna go into great detail on what the twist is and how the anime ruined it. So if you haven't seen Orange yet and you don't want to hear any spoilers for it, you want to go la 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 la, just skip to this number right here and I'll send you straight to my overall thoughts on Orange. Okay, now for those who have stuck around, the twist is basically this. We later find out in the anime that Naho's not the only one that received a strange letter from her future self. We also learn that Suwa also got a letter from his future self. And when I learned that, I was like, wow, that was well done. I did not see that coming. And I thought it was interesting that now Naho had somebody that she can kind of open up to and talk about these letters with and not come off as weird or bizarre or strange. I like that she had a partner in crime in a sense. But then the anime had to go and mess that up by also saying that the other 3 also got letters from their future selves. I was just like, really? All of them sent each other letters? I mean, come on, maybe 1 or 2, and then they would have to convince the other 3 that, yeah, we also got letters, and they're gonna be like, that's kind of strange, and I don't believe you, and then they show them proof, and they're gonna be like, whoa, that's freaking crazy, so what do we have to do? The fact that all of them got letters from their future selves, it kind of takes away from Naho and Suwa getting letters. It takes away what made those so special or unique. And again, it would have been more interesting if they had to convince the others that they have to help them save Kakaru because they got these letters. In fact, I wouldn't have been surprised if also Kakaru later on got a letter from himself saying, hey, your friends know that you're about to commit suicide, so just watch out for them. I thought that's what they were going to do next, but unfortunately he doesn't get a letter. But for me personally, I don't think all of them needed to get letters. 1 or 2 was enough. You didn't need to throw all of them letters. But overall, guys, despite its few flaws, I still really liked Orange. It was a really well done and emotional anime that rocked me to my core. And I do think that it is an anime that is definitely worth watching. Go check it out. But as always, guys, I'm not the end-all be-all opinion when it comes to Orange. I would love to know what you guys thought about this anime as well. Did you absolutely adore it? Is it one of your favorite anime of all time? Did it emotionally wreck you? Or did you find it really boring, dull, emotionally manipulative, and you couldn't get into it? Let me know what is another great anime that also tackled the heavy and dark subject of suicide. Comment below. Let me know. I apologize that this review was very late. I got preoccupied with other things and also pretty lazy. So sorry it came out late. Hopefully this won't happen again. I'll have the reviews out much more frequently. And also stay tuned on Sunday at either 8 or 9 p.m. We're not quite sure what the time is going to be yet, as we're going to be doing the Three Wise Men once again. You guys remember the Three Wise Men were me, Joe from Agree to Disagree / Other Robert, and Mike from Real School all get together and just shot the shit about movie news and topics we wanted to discuss. Well, we're bringing it back on this channel on Sunday, and we're going to be talking all things Oscars. Really excited to do this segment with my two favorite guys on YouTube, so stay tuned for that. And as always, if you'd like to see more videos on this channel, be a part of the Black Critic Crew, please hit that subscribe button below, like this video if you really enjoyed it, and I'm 21 the awesome man known as the Black Critic Guy. Till then, peace, YouTube!
Yes.